The mood at Ibrox has shifted, and not for the better. What started as murmurs of discontent has now erupted into open frustration, with the tension between the stands and the dugout reaching a boiling point. Russell Martin, under increasing pressure from fans and pundits alike, has finally broken his silence in a way that leaves no room for misinterpretation. This is no longer just about poor results or missed opportunities. It's about the credibility of the project, the identity of the team, and whether or not the manager still holds the trust of the Rangers faithful. In his latest comments, Martin didn't shy away. He faced the noise head-on, addressing the visible disconnect between the fans and the coaching staff. For a man who has always preached about style, identity, and long-term vision, this was perhaps his most emotionally raw and brutally honest moment since taking charge at Rangers. You could hear it in his voice, the frustration, the weariness, but also a quiet defiance. Martin isn't folding, at least not yet. He admitted the pain that comes with criticism, especially when it targets the one thing he prides himself on: structure and coaching. Being told that the team doesn't look coached, that it lacks identity, cuts deep. Because if there's one thing Martin has consistently brought to every club he's managed, it's a clear way of playing, a tactical identity forged through hours on the training ground. But the results at Rangers haven't always backed that up. It's one thing to be principled, and another to turn that philosophy into victories. Right now, it's the lack of consistent wins that's fueling the unrest. He made it clear that he understands the fans' anger, that he respects their right to protest, even if he doesn't agree with how it's being expressed. He's not blind to the banners, the chants, or the noise outside the stadium. But he insists that inside the building, among the players, staff, and owners, there remains belief in what they're trying to build. That support, according to him, is unwavering, and it's what keeps him moving forward amid the storm. And let's not pretend this is just a football issue. Martin also pulled back the curtain on the personal toll this period has taken. He spoke openly about his family being affected by the negativity, about his own health problems, battling a chest infection, dragging himself out of bed to take sessions, and trying to keep up appearances even when his body was clearly telling him to stop. Add to that his daughter being in hospital for several nights, and suddenly the chance and the pressure take on a different dimension. He isn't just a manager fighting for results. He's a man juggling intense professional scrutiny while dealing with very real challenges at home. Despite all of this, he remains committed. Committed to the job, to the club, and to the process. He knows that coming to a club like Rangers means everything is amplified. The highs are euphoric, but the lows? They're brutal. And yet, he accepted that when he took the role. He chose Ibrox knowing full well what it demanded. Now he's living that reality, and he isn't running from it. The most telling part of his address came when he spoke about winning being the only solution. Strip away the philosophy, the long-term project talk, and the modern football jargon. At the end of the day, the job lives and dies on results. And Martin knows that. He believes in the growth of his players. He believes in the collective strength that adversity can build. But he also knows that unless this translates into points on the board, none of it matters. The fans won't be patient forever, and neither will the board. There was also a significant update on Nicholas Raskin, whose absence and situation have raised more than a few eyebrows. Martin confirmed that the midfielder has trained well and is back in the squad, but there was a deeper message in his words. This wasn't just about form or fitness. It was about maturity, responsibility, and understanding what truly matters in a team environment. Martin hinted that this period could be pivotal for Raskin's development, not just as a footballer, but as a person. And while he didn't go into details, it's clear that something behind the scenes needed to be addressed. The fact that Raskin is being reintroduced suggests that whatever issues were there are on their way to being resolved. What's becoming increasingly clear is that Martin views these challenges, not just the on-field struggles, but the off-field turbulence, as part of the journey. He's experienced tough spells before at other clubs, and he's come through them. But this is Rangers. The scale is different. The pressure is relentless. And while past recoveries might offer comfort, they don't guarantee future success. Elsewhere, the shadow of the past still lingers. Philippe Clement, the former boss, has finally broken his silence on his controversial exit from Rangers, but only just. In an interview with a Belgian outlet, he was noticeably guarded, refusing to go into details and calling the matter too delicate. His discomfort was evident, shifting in his seat when pressed on the subject, and you get the sense that the story behind his sacking is far more complex than the public has been led to believe. Clement's tenure began with promise, but ultimately ended in frustration. A 13-point gap behind Celtic and damaging defeats to Queen's Park and Street Mirren proved too much. And while Clement avoided throwing anyone under the bus, he did hint that the context of his dismissal isn't fully understood by those outside the club. According to him, the timing wasn't right. He still believes he's held in high regard, both in Glasgow and Monaco, despite how things ended. His desire to return to management remains strong, although he's currently recovering from hip surgery and won't be back on the touchline for at least a few weeks. But Clement's reflection only adds to the scrutiny now surrounding Martin. Fans are comparing the current regime with the previous one, questioning whether real progress is being made or if Rangers are stuck in a cycle of upheaval and underachievement. The club, once feared across Scotland and respected across Europe, now finds itself searching for stability, identity, and belief. Martin's task isn't just to win games. It's to convince a fractured fanbase that there's still a vision worth believing in, that the hard moments are stepping stones, not warning signs, that the team is learning, evolving, and capable of greatness if given time. But time, in football, is never guaranteed. And at Rangers, patience is a luxury few managers can afford. What happens next will be decisive. Another poor result could push things to a breaking point. A strong win, on the other hand, might be the spark that brings everyone back on side, at least for a while. But whatever unfolds, one thing is certain. The spotlight on Russell Martin isn't going anywhere. The questions will keep coming. The pressure will keep mounting. And only results can quiet the storm. If the first part of Russell Martin's press conference was about confronting the noise, the second half peeled back the curtain on the human side of football. It's easy to forget, amid all the tactical debates and matchday tension, that these are real people dealing with the weight of expectations few of us can truly understand. And when Martin spoke about his family, his health, and the physical toll of managing through crisis, it was a sobering reminder of just how intense life inside Ibrox has become. The image of a manager who dragged himself out of bed to run training sessions while battling a chest infection paints a very different picture from the one some fans might see from the stands. The idea that he wanted to sit down during a match but stayed on his feet out of fear it would be perceived as weakness? That speaks volumes about the kind of pressure he's under. In football, optics matter, sometimes more than they should, and Martin knows how quickly perceptions can spiral when results aren't going your way. What struck most wasn't just his honesty, but the weight of it all. There's a vulnerability in admitting that your daughter has been in hospital, that your mother is sending you messages about how tired and unwell you look, all while you're trying to keep a squad focused and a season alive. Most managers keep those things behind closed doors. Martin chose to put them on the table, not as excuses, but as context. It's a powerful thing when a coach steps out from behind the tactics board and shows the human cost of trying to lead in the middle of a storm. But it also comes with risk. There will be those who hear Martin's words and call it deflection, that he's trying to earn sympathy instead of results. That, at a club like Rangers, personal struggles come second to professional accountability. And that's the cruel part of managing in a place where emotions run deep and expectations are sky high. There is very little room for grace when the league table tells a different story. Still, Martin isn't backing away from the fight. If anything, his comments suggest a man doubling down on his mission. He keeps referring back to the process, the idea that this team is still growing, still learning, and that the adversity they're facing now can become the foundation of something stronger later. It's a narrative that only holds water if the winds come soon, but it's clear he believes in the long-term payoff. That belief seems to be echoed internally. He mentioned multiple times that the support from within the club remains strong. The players, the staff, the ownership, none of them have turned. That unity is crucial, especially when the outside noise is as loud as it's been lately. If the dressing room cracks, the whole thing collapses. But if it holds together, there's still a path forward. And that brings us to this weekend. It's not just another game. It's a psychological test. For the manager, for the players, and for the fans who are clinging to hope but starting to lose faith. Martin knows that a strong result could flip the script. He said it himself. Individually, a win would be massive for some of these players. This isn't just about points. It's about belief, about proving to themselves and to everyone watching that the storm hasn't broken them. You get the sense that Martin sees patterns in his journey. He talked about how he's never taken over a club in a stable situation, that every job he's had has started from chaos. And maybe that's why he still sounds calm, still sounds convinced that this is part of the process. He's been through the fire before and come out stronger. But Rangers isn't like other clubs. The stakes are higher, the spotlight is harsher, and the consequences of failure are far more severe. That's why his reflections on Nicholas Raskin stood out. Martin didn't just give a standard injury update. He used Raskin's situation as a teaching moment. It wasn't about minutes or match fitness. It was about growth, about understanding what it means to be part of a group, to contribute beyond your own personal ambitions. For a young player at a club like Rangers, those are lessons that don't come easy. But Martin made it clear, this could be a turning point for Raskin, not just as a midfielder, but as a professional. A maturing process that might help him unlock his potential and play a bigger role in the team's future. That kind of developmental talk might not satisfy every supporter right now. Many just want wins. They want consistency. They want Celtic to be chasing them, not the other way around. And they're not wrong to feel that way. This is Rangers. Silverware, not structure, is what fills the cabinet. Style is a bonus, not a requirement. And that's where the friction lies. Martin wants to build something sustainable, something with identity and purpose. But fans live for the next result, and right now, too many of those have gone the wrong way. Then there's the looming shadow of Philippe Clement. The Belgian may be gone, but the memory of his tenure still hovers over the club. His refusal to discuss the details of his departure only adds to the intrigue and to the comparison. Some fans still wonder if Clement was given a fair shot, if the club's leadership moved too quickly, and if Martin is being allowed more time without delivering significantly more in return. Clement's comments about feeling misunderstood, about not being ready to call it a true dismissal, suggest there's more to the story than we'll ever know. But even as he recovers from surgery and looks ahead to new challenges, his presence lingers. It's part of the weight Martin now carries. Every setback, every bad performance, is viewed not just in isolation, but in comparison to what came before. Martin doesn't seem fazed by that. He knows comparisons are inevitable. He's not interested in rewriting the past. He's focused on surviving the present and building for the future. But that future has to start now. The club needs direction. The fans need reassurance. And the results need to turn fast. Because the clock is ticking, not just on Martin's tenure, but on the season itself. Points dropped now could be the difference between silverware and another year of frustration. And while Martin talks about growth and opportunity, the reality is clear. Only winning will buy him the time to finish what he started. The noise from the stands won't disappear overnight. Neither will the pressure. But a strong performance, a meaningful win, those are things that can shift the energy, even if just temporarily. Martin knows that. His players know that. Now they need to go and prove it on the pitch. Because at Ibrox, belief can return just as quickly as it fades. But only if the team gives the fans a reason to hold on. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. In what's already being described as one of the most jaw-dropping moves of the season, whispers around the Scottish football scene suggest that Stoke City's own Divin Mabama is on the verge of leaving the championship behind to make the bold leap north, straight into the heart of Glasgow with Rangers. Yes, you read that right. The 20-year-old sensation, who has been tearing defenses apart at Stoke with his blistering pace and eye for goal, is reportedly set to swap the Potteries for Ibrox, leaving fans in both camps completely stunned. Sources close to the deal have hinted that Rangers have been quietly plotting to secure Mabama for months. The club's hierarchy apparently sees him as the perfect spark to ignite their attacking line, adding a touch of English Championship steel to a squad already brimming with ambition. While nothing is officially confirmed, insiders say the Rangers faithful are already dreaming of seeing Mabama's lightning runs and clinical finishes gracing their home turf. Meanwhile, Stoke City supporters are left in disbelief. How could the club let go of one of their brightest young talents, especially when he has been pivotal in some of their most exciting championship performances this season? Rumor has it that Stoke's board tried to resist, But the lure of a top Scottish club, European football, and a chance to shine under the floodlights of Ibrox was simply too strong for Mabama to ignore. Gossip mills in Glasgow suggest that the youngster's arrival could happen as soon as the next transfer window opens, with talks said to be very advanced. If it goes through, Mabama won't just be another signing. He could be the statement of intent Rangers have been waiting for, sending a clear message to Celtic and the rest of Scotland that they mean business in the league and beyond. As the rumor gains traction, pundits are already speculating how the Englishman will adapt to Scottish football. Some warn that the step-up could be tricky, while others insist that Mabama's fearless style makes him tailor-made for the intensity and passion of the Premiership. One thing is certain. Should the deal materialize, it will set tongues wagging from Glasgow to Stoke, and perhaps even further afield. For now, all eyes are on Divin Mabama, the young star who might just be about to swap championship battles for Celtic derbies, and the football world waits with bated breath to see if this sensational rumor becomes reality. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.